Okay, hello everyone. I think we're live. Let me just check the feed. Yep. Okay. If you are watching and can help me out by just sharing this link, I'm going to share this couple of places here. I've got the chat open as well, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to interact with you in real time and have you become part of this content while we make it. That would be fantastic. And let's see here. We're going to go here. And we'll get to that in just a second. We're going to be doing some illustration, and we're going to do it live, and I want to show you some of my process. This is a little bit different than the vector portraits that you've seen me do lots of, I'm sure. And this is going to be using a hand-drawn illustration. But I want to show you. Well, we'll see. We'll see how far we can go in this stream. So, all right. So, first of all, I'm just going to go over to my Google Drive. We're gonna do this in Google Slides. Shift P will start a new Google Slides document. P for presentation, I guess. And I'm just going to show you some of my process and some of the things that I just do kind of automatically now. I'll close down the templates gallery. I don't need to see that. If you press Alt and the backspace, it will just highlight this little search menu right up here. Normally it will look like this, and that search menu is under the help. But a quick way to get to it is Alt backspace, which incidentally also happens to be the question mark key. And then just start typing anything. I do this a lot rather than going through the drop downs and file menus and that kind of stuff. Like for the speaker notes, I just want to get rid of that. I don't need it for this. So Alt backspace, and I can just start typing speaker, and then I can just and then I can unclick show speaker notes. It's in the view menu. View, there's speaker notes. But a lot of times I will hide this menu bar up here to give myself a little bit more screen real estate. You see that? So there it is. And then I can hide it. It just kind of gets rid of everything that I don't need. And I use that Alt backspace. If I want to flip something horizontally, I can just start typing and then find all of my stuff in here. I can add guides now, which is really cool. But we're just going to do some illustrations. So let's get rid of this filler content. We'll also go to our master slides. And we're going to get rid of some of these layouts in here. Don't need any of this content. This way, it will just save us time when we add new slides. It won't add all of that pre-built content for us. That'll just be blank slides. How's everybody doing? Is the stream coming through okay? Let me know in the comments. All right, this is what we're going to be working on. This this little illustration right here is sort of a Christmassy. I know it's a little early for Christmas, but we're going to work on this. So here's what I did, and I do this often, right? I made myself a little sketch right there. There it is. Just in my little notebook here, my little journal. Just a really quick scribbly doodle. And took a picture of it with my phone. And then I use Google Photos a lot to upload these, and then I have access to them very quickly on my computer. So no scanning and emailing and any of that. I just take a picture of it. It uploads automatically to Google Photos, and then I can grab it once I get to the computer. So I'm just going to copy this image. And actually, why don't I go ahead and show you in this stream, since we are live, I can show you some of the things that I might do. I don't always do this step, but for this, why don't we go ahead and try it out? I've opened up paint.net. This is a free photo editing application for Windows. And I just create a new document, and then I will Control V, paste in that image. And now what I can do is use paint.net to just refine this a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is actually grab my lasso select tool here and just select around the stuff I want to keep. And then I can hold down Alt to remove things from the selection. Control and the scroll wheel will zoom in. Holding down Control can add to the selection. So it's a lot like Photoshop. If you've ever used Photoshop, I can hold down spacebar and pan this around. This is just a pixel-based image editor. And what I'm going to do is go up to Image and Crop to Selection. So I get rid of all of that other stuff I don't need. And let's see, I'm going to go to, let's just first make sure this is black and white. So I'm going to go to Adjustments and Black and White. Click OK. Control L will bring up my levels. These are just things that I typically do a lot of. So I'm going to really blow out the whites so I get rid of that paper texture. And then I can bring back in some of the black. So I just have a really, really nice high contrast black and white illustration. There we go. And I'll just save this as a JPEG. I don't need a PNG because I don't need the alpha transparency. I just need a black and white image, and I'll just call this trees. Okay. And we'll just save it to the desktop. There's the preview. Cool. One thing I really, really like about paint.net is just how fast and snappy it is. It's a lightweight program. I don't have to wait for it to load. There's some really, really powerful plugins and just a built-in stock processes, adjustments, effects, and stuff that it can do. But we'll save that for another stream. This one, let's just get into our illustration process. And I'm going to name this trees. It doesn't necessarily have to be for Christmas, but why not? Right. And then we'll just drag and drop that right in there. There we go. So now we've got our image all nice and cleaned up inside of Google Slides. A couple of things you can do in Google Slides as well is double click on your image, and then you can crop this down further. So if we just want to get rid of some of the extra white space here that we did not get rid of in paint.net, we can still do that in Google Slides. There we go. So here's what I'm going to do. This is sort of an abstract, simplified, obviously, illustration. I think this would work really well on a website or maybe a card, a greeting card, Christmas card, you know, just about anything. And I think what I want to do, how should we approach this? What do you think, guys? What should we get some colors first, or just use the color? Let's just use the stuff inside Google Slides for the most part. So to zoom in and out quickly, I use Control Alt. I hold down Control and Alt, and then push the plus and minus keys. And that will zoom me in and out. Sorry to give you a headache there. All right. I don't need to be zoomed in too much, though, on this one. So there we go. And I think we're basically just going to use the polyline tool for the trees. And I'm going to kind of start back to front and create this in layers. So Some of this I'm not going to be able to see, so I just interpret it. So essentially what I'm doing is taking a very, very loose sketch and creating a high fidelity illustration out of it. Right, so, and I really like, I'm going to try to keep some of this. I really like the kind of imperfection of this. I'm going to maybe clean it up just a little bit, but I like the rough organic feel of it. Right. I can always go back in and change colors later. So this is going to be on top of this triangle. And you can see my illustration style here is similar to my vector portraits, this very low poly, geometric, basic shapes. All right. Then we'll do, let's go ahead and get this tree. This is all the way in the back here. Okay. Control Shift and the down arrow will move things to the back. All right. And then we want this tree here. Essentially just a triangle. So I just want to point out that, so for like these types of drawings that I do that are very rough and quick and scribbly, which is kind of just my style, I'll just use hash, like cross hatching. So just hatching here to separate things by tone. And then of course in here, what I'm doing now is reinterpreting that as different colors and different shades. And so I'm really using that sketch as a very solid, but very, very quick. You know, I do these just sort of doodling in, you know, a couple of minutes, base for a much higher quality illustration. Thank you guys for watching. I do have the chat open if you have any questions or comments while the stream is going. All right, and then let's get this piece here. I might add this kind of change in tone here, or make it maybe semi-transparent or translucent. I'm not sure yet. For now, let's just get the shapes, and that kind of overlaps like that. And maybe right about there. Okay, and we've got another shape back here. It almost is just kind of like a drop shadow or a cast shadow, but let's just make that a shape as well. Move it over. I hold Shift, and then I can pan over to where I want. Holding Shift will constrain the movement of that shape so it doesn't go up or down, just left to right. And then move that to the back. Now I just Control up arrow until I get it to the place that I want. And of course, because these are vector shapes, I can always edit it after the fact. So I can double click and grab those nodes and then continue pushing and pulling it around. That looks interesting. Not sure if I'm going to keep those colors, but I'm kind of liking that color scheme so far. And we'll get the big tree here in the front, which has more details. But I'm essentially just tracing over my hand-drawn illustration and making little adjustments here and there as it feels right. Okay, we'll get this lined up right there. Again, I can always double click to edit those nodes and make it different. I don't have to follow my own guides here. It's nothing set in stone. This tree, maybe we'll make it brighter green. All right, then we'll get this triangle here, right there. Maybe make that a blue or a teal. Hey, Paolo. How you doing? Thank you for watching. All right, now for these circles, I'm just going to use the circle shape here, the oval shape. And I'm going to hold shift while I make these so that I make them perfect circles. I think that'll be nice, having these perfect circles in with some of these sort of irregular polygon shapes. Maybe we'll bring in some yellows and golds. Also, hold down Control and just drag a duplicate, just like that. And drag it back over here to get it lined up to where I want it. And make it the right size. Change that color maybe to a darker gold. Move it over. And then I'll just eyeball this one. Smaller circle here. It may actually push it up further. We'll make that maybe a brighter yellow. Okay, another big circle. Let's make that a bright blue for now. Just hold down Control and dragged another copy there. Okay. That one's a little smaller. And maybe this one's going to be dark. Something like that. So we have a much more refined vector illustration. I'm just going to zoom in, and you can see I didn't even take this at a very high resolution. As I zoom in, you see the pixelation, you see the low resolution JPEG artifacts in there. I just needed it as reference. But when I zoom in on my vector shapes, look at how crisp and clean these are. This is what's beautiful about vector graphics, is that for reproduction quality, for independence, resolution independent, you can make these as big as small as you want, and they maintain that crisp, high quality edge. And I can always go in and change colors, which is just great. You can't really do that with paint. All right, now I can just move this off to the side. I like usually keeping my references in here in case I want to go back to those for any reason. And I might go back over here and refine some of this. I don't like how this one's leaning there. I'm just going to fix it up a little bit. Not perfect. I want to keep some of that organic feel to it, a little bit of that imperfection, but just make it a little cleaner. I really like that. I like the greens and the blues and the teals and a little bit of a gold here and there. I might actually add one more hint of gold, move it all the way to the back. Right there. Maybe make it even bigger. Something like that. And I might duplicate this one as well, move it to the back. And we're just going to expand it out a little bit. So now I'm just sort of riffing on some of the stuff I've already made. And I kind of like that, just a really subtle gray right there. And we'll just stretch it out. All right, now I'm going to select everything, Control, Alt, and G, put it all into a group, and I can move this whole thing around as it's one object. So click and then click in again to select every individual piece. I still have full control over all of those elements. That's what's another thing that's so great about this is that now that these are individual pieces, I can do a lot of reiterating. And I think we're gonna keep both of these actually on the slide for this first slide, and then I'm just gonna go over here to the slides area, the pages area, and click New Slide, and we'll copy our new illustration, paste it here, and maybe add some text or something to this. Let's go to Insert. I'm going to use Word Art for this, and let's just say happy. Let's find a font here. Merriweather. Happy holidays. Maybe make it bold and italic. I'll shrink that down a little bit. Line it up on the canvas. And then maybe we can play with our background here. I just like it white. That's kind of nice, clean. There we go. I mean, we can play with this a lot more. We could change colors. We could change fonts. We could. One thing that I really like to do is once I get get all my pieces here, I can just duplicate the slide, and then on a new slide, I can do all my iterations. So maybe I want to swap these. Maybe we'll change the font, make it a little more modern. We could even make our illustration bigger than our canvas, so it kind of extends out beyond the boundaries, something like that. And we can push this button right down here, which is grid view, which is also there's a shortcut for it here. Let's see. Grid view is Control-Alt-1. Control-Alt-1, that toggles it. All right. Control-Alt-1. And we can see our design sort of progress here. What do you guys think? You have any comments or questions? Any ideas? Hopefully this is inspiring somebody, and hopefully the stream is working out okay here. I'll duplicate this again, maybe do another idea. And let's go to our master slides. I'm going to show you some of the things that I do with my master slides. In here, I'll create a new layout, and then let's go to insert. We'll insert an image and search the web, and we'll have Google help us find the stock image, and we're going to use search for snow here. Snow falling. Yeah, I think this one up here will work fine. I just want to add a little bit of texture. So I'm going to use a photo to help me do that. Put it in the background. I can double click to crop this. I'm going to crop it to the exact size of my page. And then inside the cropping box, I can adjust where that photo sits. Then I'm going to go to my format options, go to recolor, and make sure this is on grayscale. And adjustments, I'm going to make this very, very transparent, maybe 90%. And then my brightness, I'm going to increase that, maybe not too much, maybe to 20. Pull down the contrast. So I'm just using some of those built-in adjustments there in Google Slides to help me. Now I can apply this layout. I'll right-click on a slide, go to apply layout, and there's my custom layout number 1. And it's very, very subtle there in the background. You'll be able to see it a little bit better if I change the background color. There, it's peeking through just a little bit. Gives me a little bit of texture there in the background. Now I could make my text white. I can always go back to my master slides to edit that. Format options. Maybe make this more like 80%. I'll give us a little bit more texture there. We could also change our background color to a gradient. Maybe this gradient green. That looks pretty neat. And there we go. Lots of different ways to use our illustration inside Google Slides, and just makes it a very quick way to iterate and change things up, move things around. We can add new slides. This could be like maybe a front and a back to a postcard, or the outside and inside of a greeting card or a Christmas card, or it could just be a header graphic for a website, or a cover photo for your social media profiles. All from this quick little sketch, and we have a very now refined illustration and design here. You guys have any comments or questions while I'm still on here? Please leave them in the comments there. I really appreciate you watching, and all of my viewers. I really appreciate the comments and the encouragement. So I'm working really hard to lower the threshold for entry into digital art and graphic design, especially for students and teachers, small business owners, and nonprofit organizations, people that either have a small budget or no budget, but also find high-end creative applications like the Adobe Creative Cloud intimidating. And maybe that is just too far out of your reach. You might already have the tools that you need right in your web browser. And so I'm creating a lot of content around these ideas, things that I've been now using for a long time to create professional work on a Chromebook even. Chromebooks now outnumber just about every other device in the classroom. And I think that there's a tremendous amount of potential right there. So that's what I'm working hard at doing, being able to create little tutorials and tips and tricks videos like this to help somebody, to inspire students, to help teachers and administrators and business owners create better and more beautiful content for whether they're trying to attract people to an event, or get people to sign up for something, or promote their product, or just build recognition and resonance in their community for their brand. All of those things are really important, and I think that design matters across the board. And so my goal is to help bring a higher level and higher quality of design and make it more possible, more reachable for everyone, and use very, very simple tools, and share my ethos, my way of thinking about design and graphics and visual communication with anybody who's interested. If that's something that you would be willing to support and help me do that, I can't do it by myself, then please head over to my Patreon. There's a link in the description on this video. and you can support me there. I have rewards for people who do that. So this is just my little commercial spiel right here at the end. If you do have any questions, please let me know. But I want to show you one of the things that I've been working really hard at doing, googledrawings.org. This is a showcase of all of this stuff was made in Google Drawings. The same vector tools that you saw me using in Google Slides are available in Google Drawings. So all of this portrait work, all these illustrations, this is all made just like what you saw me do in the web browser with free applications like Google Drawings. I have a process page that shows behind the scenes. I have text and video tutorials and walkthroughs and guides that shows exactly what I'm doing, how I accomplish this digital art and design, as well as a resource page. Any of these images, you can click on it, will create a unique copy that will exist in your Google Drive. You'll be able to edit it and grab those little bitty shapes and every little piece in there, change the colors, move things around, and make it your very own. Do whatever you want with it. All of this is available for free. Like I said, if you're able to, please check out my Patreon page in the description. That really, really helps me. And you will be added to my Patreon gallery if you do sign up. So I have a gallery page on here. This is just to say thank you so much to all of my supporters. I really, really appreciate the help. And this is starting to fill up. So I really, really am thankful and grateful for you. And you can get a vector flat like this. These work great as profile images for just $5. $5 a month, then you'll be added to the Patreon gallery. You'll get one of these vector flats, these sort of stylized paper cutout looking vector illustrations with the link so that you can copy it and do whatever you want with it. All right, what else? Anything else? Any other questions? That's enough of the commercial stuff there. Spencer, hi, how you doing? Thank you for watching. Says, I've been playing around with digital art for a few years now, and my interest in graphic design started with your Google Drawings portraits, so thank you. Wow, thank you. That's very encouraging to hear. Thank you, Spencer. Piolo, thank you as well. Thank you for watching and for your comment. So I like to take a very simplified approach. It's much harder to be simple. It really is. It takes more effort. It takes more thought to make things simple and still include everything that you need to include, whether that's for like a handout for like a flyer or a brochure or website design. By the way, this googledrawings.org, this whole site was created in Google Sites. So I've got some videos on my YouTube channel. Please check out some of my other content if you're interested in seeing how I created this site. But I kind of break things into very basic chunks. So just like you saw me make this illustration and then turn it into something that has a message, something that I think is visually striking. Of course, I could spend a lot more time with this, but Piolo, thanks. Thank you. But I like the simplicity of these tools. I really, really believe that constraints cultivate and become a catalyst for real creativity. Constraints cultivate creativity. So by limiting myself to these more simple tools, I'm able to actually create more things. It seems counterintuitive, but just because you might happen to have Photoshop doesn't mean you can create something beautiful. I do love Photoshop. I love all of the Adobe products, and I have lots of tips and tricks and videos on those as well. But this is something that anybody can use right now, and you don't need to go to school or watch a whole bunch of videos to learn how to use some of these tools. You probably have already been using them. If you're in a school or organization or a business that maybe you're using a G Suite, then you already have access to all of this stuff, and you can use Google Slides to create print documents, which I'll probably do more videos on that as well. And cool little illustrations like this. Fellow says, very helpful and inspiring. Well, thank you. Thanks for that feedback. I'm very glad to hear that. All right. Well, it's Sunday evening. I hope you guys have a good rest of the night and a wonderful day tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. Appreciate it. Bye for now.